Hello children, today we are going to start with class 7 general science, chapter number 9. The name of the chapter is soil. So as we are going to learn about the soil, first of all, what is soil? Now we can say that soil is an important natural resource required for the growth of plants. Now you see, here is the lesson overview where it is soil types and soil layers. First, from what the soil is made up of? What are the substances from which the soil is made up of? So here we can say that soil is made up of air, water, humus, sand, and the different types of organisms which lives on the soil. Now, how many types of soils are there? Mainly it is of three types: clay, sandy, and loamy. Three types of soils are there. Now, what are the characteristics of this soil type? Clay soil is less fertile, dense. Dense means the particles are packed together. Not much of gap is there between the soil particles. Gets waterlogged. Waterlogged means when waters get collected in such a type of soil, it remains there for some time. The water does not disappear quickly. It does not go down quickly. And sandy soil, it is not fertile, very porous, water disappears quickly, does not hold water, means it cannot hold water for a long period of time. Then loamy soil, it is very fertile, porous, and can hold water. Now soil, it consists of different layers. So there are mainly three layers. The three layers are called as horizon A, the topmost layer, which is fertile. Then after horizon A, below it, it is horizon B, which is rich in mineral, and horizon C, the deepest layer, which is rocky. So as we have learned, soil is an important natural resource necessary for the growth of plants. Now in this chapter, we are going to discuss about this topic. The main headings which we have written: formation of soil, weathering, what is soil made up of, soil profile, main horizons of soil, types of soil, properties of soil, absorption of water by soil, percolation rate of water in soil, soil and crops, and then soil conservation. So let us discuss one by one all those topics. So soil, as we've already discussed, is an important natural resource which is necessary for the growth of plants. Many microorganisms live in soil. We also depend on soil for the growth of crops from which we get our food. Now soil, so important it is, so it is very necessary for us to know how the formation of soil takes place. In the very beginning, earth was covered with big rocks. Only rocks were there. So repeated heating by the sun during the day and cooling at night. Because of this, repeated heating by the sun during the day and cooling at night, rocky surfaces developed cracks in it. So what happens when it is heated up, it expands. And when the rocks cool down at night, it contracts. So because of that repeated expansion and contraction, the surface developed cracks. Now with the passage of time, the cracks widened and the upper level of the rocky surface begin to break into small pieces. Now force of flowing water, then roots of the tree, etc. also play a very important role in the formation of soil. So the next is weathering. Now weathering means the action of natural factors that lead to breaking of rocks into smaller and smaller pieces is known as weathering. I am repeating this again. The action of natural factors that lead to breaking of rocks into smaller and smaller pieces which lead to the formation of soil is known as weathering. Now, for millions of years, weathering, it is a continuous process. It has been taking place for millions of years and is still continuing. So, for millions of years, weathering has converted the rocky surface of the earth into pebbles. Now, pebbles, when we say small, smooth, round stones, pebbles, sand, silt, and clay particles. Now, these way, soil is formed. Now, plants grew on land and their remains mixed with the soil, making it fertile. This fertile layer is called humus. So, soil formation is an ongoing process. It is a continuous process. What is soil made up of? Next topic. What is soil made up of? Soil is made up of pebbles, as I've already said, small, smooth, round stones, pebbles, sand grains, particles of the sand, silt, clay particles, and humus. Humus means dead and decayed part of plants and animals. Soil also contains air in the spaces between the soil particles. So there used to be small space between the soil particles, and that space is occupied by the air. Some amount of water and minerals. That means soil contains, along with all these different type of soil particles like pebbles, sand grain, silt, clay, soil also contains a little amount of air in it, some amount of water, and then minerals. Now, soil profile. Soil profile means the appearance of the soil as we go down below the earth crust. Soil stretches up to several feet below ground level. So from the ground level, if we go down, the soil goes down below up to several feet. Made up of different layers. So soil is made up of different layers. Thickness of each layer varies from place to place. Each distinct layer of soil is called as soil horizon. So one particular layer, it is called as a horizon. So main horizons of the soil. So how many horizons are there? Mainly the thickness of the soil. It has been divided into three layers which are called as horizons. So the first layer or the first horizon is horizon A. It is the uppermost layer which is also called as the topsoil. It is made up of sand, silt, clay, pebbles, etc. It is rich in humus. So this is the fertile layer of the soil where we grow crops. It supports plants. As I've said, crops are grown in this horizon. And the second horizon or the second layer is horizon B. Horizon B is below horizon A, just immediately below horizon A. It has been given the name horizon B. This is a harder region. It is harder than that of horizon A. Besides sand, silt, and clay, it contains large amount of pebbles. This horizon, horizon B, is the storehouse of different types of minerals. This layer is also called the subsoil. Subsoil means soil that is present below the first layer. Subsoil. In this horizon, the roots of the trees or big plants are found, only the roots. Horizon C is the lowermost layer of the soil. It contains mostly large pieces of rocks, big rocks. That's why it is difficult to dig beyond this level. Then next is types of soil. Depending on the amount of sand, silt, clay and humus, the topsoil can be divided into 4 types. That means how much sand is there, how much silt is there, how much of the clay is there in the soil, and how much humus is there. Depending on that, the soil, it is divided into 4 types. So the 4 types are sandy soil, silty soil, clayey soil, and loamy soil. So the first type is sandy soil. Now let us see the characteristics of this different type of soil. Sandy soil is mainly made up of sand particles. The soil is coarse. Coarse means the particles are not smooth, very rough. Large space between the particles is there. It cannot hold water. Xerophytic plants grow in sandy soil. So xerophytic plants means plants which grows mostly in desert climate. Xerophytic plants. One example I can give, it is cactus. So such plants are called as xerophytic plants which grow in that type of soil where the availability of water or the amount of water is very less. Second, clayey soil. Clay soil contains at least 30% clay particles. It is rich in minerals, gets waterlogged very easily. Paddy and cotton grows well in this type of soil. Then third type is loamy soil. Loamy soil contains an equal amount of sand and silt and lesser amount of clay in it. It also contains good amount of humus. It holds a good amount of air and water, so humus content is very high. So this type of soil, loamy soil, it is ideal, very suitable for the growth of crops. Fourth type is silty soil. Particles are smaller than sand. Silt soil particles are smaller than sand, but much larger than clay. This type of soil remains moist for a longer time. That's why many kinds of plants can be grown in this type of soil. Then properties of soil. The first one is pore spaces. Pore. Spaces between the soil particles are known as pore spaces. P-O-R-E, pore spaces. Pore means small holes, you can say. Pore space is a very important property of soil. So depending on how much of pore space is there, it decides the property of the soil. Water and air content of the soil and flow of water through the soil depend on the pore space of the soil. That means how long the water will remain on the surface of the soil, it depends on the pore space. How much of the pore space is there between the soil particles. Next is absorption of water by the soil. So here the first topic that we need to discuss is water holding capacity of the soil. What is water holding capacity? The ability of the soil to retain water is known as its water holding capacity. Repeating again, the ability of the soil to retain water is known as its water holding capacity. Then the next property is percolation rate of water in the soil. Percolation rate means how fast the water can disappear from the surface of a soil. That is called as percolation rate. Percolation rate is the measure of how fast water flows or percolates through the soil. Percolate means to go inside the soil, to go deep under the soil. Repeating again, percolation rate is the measure of how fast water flows or percolates through the soil. Then, soil and crops. So the first one is loamy soil. Loamy soil presents good amount of plant nutrients in it. It retains water but does not get waterlogged. So that's why it is used to grow vegetables, onions, garlic, pulses, wheat and maize. Then silty soil. Silty soil is suitable for the growth of vegetables, fruit-bearing trees, pulses, etc. Then clay soil. Clay soil is good for the cultivation of paddy and wheat and fruit trees. Okay, children, now we have come to the final topic of this lesson, that is soil conservation. Now, soil conservation is to protect the soil from degradation. So, when a large number of trees are cut or cattle are allowed to graze or overgraze, and due to mining activities, sometimes what happens, the topsoil, the topmost layer of the soil, it used to get blown away by the wind, or it is carried away by the, or washed away by the flowing water. So how to reduce this? Because the topmost layer of soil is very important for the growth of crops. It is the fertile layer, and if the fertile layer of the soil is removed because of the force of the wind or the flowing water, then the cultivation of crops cannot be done nicely. So the force of wind and flowing water can be reduced by growing cover crops. Cover crops means crops like this one, grass. Some type of crops are also used to grown in the barren land to protect the soil from erosion. The force of wind and water can also be reduced by growing trees and shrubs on the boundaries of field. Such rows of plants grown on the boundary of fields are known as shelter belts. Then, excessive use of chemical fertilizers, it reduces the fertility of the soil. So, effect of chemical fertilizers can be reduced by frequently using compost. Compost is the manure that is made up from the dead and decayed part of plants and animals. When a large number of trees, repeating again, you see, when a large number of trees are cut, cattle are allowed to overgraze, and due to the mining activities in a particular region, the topsoil used to get blown away and the land is barren. So we can prevent this either by growing cover crops or by growing rows of plants in the boundaries of the field, which are called as shelter belts. So this much today, children. Stay safe and keep learning. Thank you so much.